Have you ever had a moment in fostering where you just think this is just too much? Not because you can't do it, but because it just feels heavy again. And that's the part that no one really talks about, that even when you've grown, even when you've learned so much, and even when you're doing better, it can still feel really hard. Today, I want to talk about what to do in those moments. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why fostering can still feel really overwhelming, really hard, even when you've been doing it for a long time, and how we can move through those moments without feeling like you're going backwards. One of the things that can catch you off guard in fostering is when it feels hard again and again and again. Because over time, you expect that things should start to feel easier, you've got more experience, you started to build routines, and you start to understand a lot more about trauma and the children in your care. And yet still there's those moments where everything still feels really heavy. And I want to say this really clearly, that doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong. It does not mean that you are going backwards or even that you're failing. Doesn't mean that you're not cut out for this role, for this calling. It just means that you are still in something that is emotionally demanding. Because let's be honest, fostering, it really does carry weight. You're holding space for so much, for children's emotions, behaviours, systems, expectations, and that uncertainty as well. So even when we're managing it well, that weight doesn't disappear. And honestly, I've had moments like this through my journey where everything externally might look fine, but internally, I just feel like I'm still carrying a lot. Where I've thought, why does this still feel so heavy? Why is this still so hard? And it's in these moments that it's so easy to start questioning ourselves whether we're actually capable or should be doing what we're doing, to wonder if you should be able to handle things better. And honestly, this is something that I've really had to learn, that there's always going to be a lot of overwhelm when it comes to fostering. And it doesn't just come from what's happening around us, but it comes from not being clear as well on what we stand for. Because when we're not clear on our values, we end up accommodating everything for everyone. Everybody else's expectations, everybody else's opinions, everybody else's way of doing things, their demands, their wants. And honestly, that is really exhausting. But when you come to learn your value, something shifts. And I want to share this honestly. I value my marriage. My husband becomes before everything else in my home. And yes, that does mean I don't allow anything to disrupt that. That is at the core of our home. And it's not something that I feel guilty about either. It's something that I decided the day I said I do to my husband. And I also value my home that feels calm and clean and respected. So I don't tolerate behaviour that creates chaos and disrespect or disorder in my home. And that's not harsh, but it's clear. And I think that this is where a lot of carers struggle, because they're afraid of being seen as the difficult carer, the one that doesn't conform, the one that doesn't say yes, the one that feels misunderstood, the one who gets labelled as maybe even a bad person. But by having values, it doesn't make you a bad carer. It makes you a clear one. And when you're clear, you can stop being pulled in every single direction. And this is why so many moments will still feel heavy, because you're still trying to carry everything for everyone without a foundation to stand firm on. So what do you do when it all just feels too much? Not in theory, but actually in real life. And I've said this so many times. Firstly, you pause. Not everything needs an immediate response from you. Second, we reduce the noise. Not every problem needs your full attention all at once. And third, you just simply come back to what actually matters today. Not everything, just the present moment, just what needs you right now. And this is truly where faith becomes steady, not something dramatic. And I think this is what it really looks like to put faith at the heart of fostering. And it's knowing that the waves are not going to stop coming, but you're not going to be facing them the same way that you used to. In Isaiah 40:29, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Not when everything is perfect, but right in the middle of all of that weight. You don't have to carry it alone, and this is really important. So when it feels hard again and again, you're not back at the start. You're just in another moment. But you face that moment with more strength than you had before. You face it with more knowledge, more wisdom, and yes, actually more patience than you did before. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 reminds us, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. So if today feels heavy, if things still feel like a lot where you are right now on your journey, let this be your simple reminder. You're not failing, you're not going backwards. You're just in a moment that requires you to slow down, to steady yourself again. And that's just a part of the journey. And you'll find yourself in that time and time again. So thank you for being a part of the Fostering Kingdoms community. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to invite you to be an active part of the community by simply liking this video, subscribing to our podcast, and sharing this with another foster carer who may need to hear this today, who may be feeling overwhelmed and burdened on their journey. But if you're looking for more support and resources, you can find everything at fosteringkingdoms.com. And if you're not ready to leave yet, don't worry, we can hang out some more.